Hey, how's it going, guys? Please forgive me my voice. I do have a little bit of a sore throat, but this is my updated conference realignment video. I just made one a week ago, but I kind of updated it how it really should be the right way. So in the ACC first, in the South, you have Clemson, Duke, NC State, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Wake Forest. And then in the North Division, you have Boston College, Maryland, Penn State, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Virginia, and West Virginia. So that's the ACC. Now we have the American Conference, which was formerly known as the Big East. And that's what you have right here, the Eastern smaller group of five schools. Rutgers is a group of five school in football, in my opinion. So you have Army, Buffalo, James Madison, Marshall, Navy, Old Dominion, Rutgers, and Temple in the American New Big East Conference. And then in the Big 12 in the North, a lot of hatred here. You have Arkansas, Kansas, Kansas State, Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State. And then in the South, you have Baylor, Houston, SMU, TCU, Texas, Texas A&M, and Texas Tech. So that's the Big 12. And this is what conferences should really be in real life, in my opinion. Makes sense geographically, and it's a lot closer for teams. And they're still good conferences. In the Big Ten in the West, you have Illinois, Iowa, Iowa State, Minnesota, Northwestern, Purdue, Wisconsin. And then in the East, you have Cincinnati, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisville, Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State. I could have put Notre Dame in here because they fit perfectly geographically in the Big Ten, which is the Big 14 now in this game, in my opinion. Just like the Big 12 is the Big 14. But Notre Dame just never wants to join a conference, so that's why. Conference USA, I have, which is like a lower version of maybe the Big 12. I have Arkansas State in the East Division, Arkansas State, Louisiana, Louisiana Tech, Rice, Southern Miss, Tulane, ULM in the East. And then in the West, you have New Mexico, North Texas, Texas State, Tulsa, UTEP, UTSA. That's Conference USA. Yep, Notre Dame is the only independent team because they never want to join a conference, even if you know they should be in the Big Ten. And then in the Midwestern United States, so this is like a lower version of the Big Ten Conference. In the East, I have Akron, Ball State, Bowling Green, Kent State, Ohio, and Toledo in the East. And then in the West, I have Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Miami of Ohio, Northern Illinois, Western Kentucky, and Western Michigan in the West. Now you have the Mountain West. I have Air Force, BYU. Yes, I put BYU in here because the Pac 12 would not welcome them because of their religion standards. And I didn't want to put them in the Big 12 because they didn't fit as well geographically. But they would fit since they were independent. They can travel anywhere, but this one makes the most sense. They have Air Force, BYU, Colorado State, Fresno State, Hawaii, Nevada, San Jose State, UNLV, Utah State, and Wyoming. So the Mountain West lost 3 teams in Boise State, San Diego State, New Mexico. But they gained 1 in BYU. And then in the Pac-12, in the North, I have Boise State, California, Colorado, Oregon, Oregon State, Washington, and Washington State in the North. And then in the South, I have Arizona, Arizona State, San Diego State, Stanford, UCLA, USC, and Utah in the South. Don't judge. Most of this works geographically. Colorado's on the northern part of Colorado. In the SEC, in the East, you have Florida, Florida State, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Miami, and UCF. Then in the West, you have Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt. In the Sun Belt, which is like a lower version of the SEC in the North, you have Appalachian State, Charlotte, Coastal Carolina, East Carolina, Georgia State, Memphis, Middle Tennessee State. And then in the South, you have Florida Atlantic, Georgia Southern, South Alabama, Troy, UAB, and South Florida. And is that all the conferences? Yep, that's all the conferences. And I could have put like group of 5 teams in the same conferences as Power 5, but like it would be a mismatch. I tried to make the conferences as much same competition as possible. So like I didn't want to put Middle Tennessee State in the SEC because they would just get dominated by teams, you know. Only the bigger group of 5 teams like UCF at the moment, like Cincinnati and, you know, San Diego State, Boise State, I put them in Power 5 conferences because they've been so good in football over the last 5 or 10, 15 years. So that's why I did that. But hope you guys like this. Give it a like. I think this makes the most sense geographically and as all conferences. I think this format of conference realignment makes the most sense. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a great one.